Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Tampa Bay Downs here on Saturday. It is the 7th of February, 2026. Gonna look at the stakes races here on this program from Tampa. But before I get on to that, remember to follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And I mean around the world. Join me next Saturday for my Saudi Cup preview. Also next Saturday for the Risen Star from the fairgrounds. It's going to be an excellent weekend of racing. So I hope you join me for that, and hopefully we'll be warming up here on the East Coast, so we'll have not so much cancellations. It's gonna be a brutal weekend here in New York City. And in Tampa, it looks like it's gonna be a nice weekend, though. We're gonna look at stakes races here on Sam F. Davis Day, races 4, 5, and 11. So let's get to it right now. Fourth race from Tampa, it is the Minaret Stakes. It's going for a $125,000 purse. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. 6 horses are contesting 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. Let me take the 2 horse Summer's Coming as a top selection, and I hope Summer's Coming. I'm going to go 2-1-4-6 in the superfecta. 2-1-4-6 super. Top selection 2 horse Summer's Coming. 5-year-old mare by Summer Front. Mike Dinney trains one. Charlie Marquez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came an optional 100 at Tampa, 6 furlongs, 7th of January. Off a bit of a quick turnaround of about 2.5 weeks from his prior race, second off the bench. Second by 2 3/4 lengths that day. He had a bit of a wide trip, but he kept closing up well. He didn't, go down without a fight. I thought it was an okay effort. His last 2 efforts locally haven't been half bad, and his efforts on the track haven't been half bad either. Tampa Bay down 6 was Christmas Eve in optional 100. He finished second by 1/4 lengths, and he was with them early on. He just again couldn't get there late. Maybe first start since October. He needed the race, but not a bad race in the feed. And then at Delaware, 5.5 in optional 32, winning by 2 3/4 lengths. He had a bit of a lesser quality horses he was facing from his previous races, but he won from a tracking trip, and it was a very good race. Refreshing here, training well. I think he's loaded. I think the 1 horse Mystic Lake for Safi Joseph and Flavien Cohen also. He was a winner 2 back in the Liberty Bell at Parks, going 6.5, winning by 1 3/4 lengths. On the front all throughout, he came home clear. Came back front of the Sugar Swirl after that at Goldstrom over the 6, where he finished third by 3 lengths, where he just kind of hit the wall. Mrs. Bouchero really, closed up well from a track trip. This horse just wasn't getting into it. But this horse had a great summer campaign. Won the Memorial Day Sprint at Lone Star. Came back to win the Dashing Beauty at Delaware. Came back to win the Pink Ribbon and finished off the season in the Liberty Bell at Park. Refreshing here to Tampa, where this horse is 2 for 2, winning here quite a few seasons ago. I think this horse could also get the job done. Even money, I know it's a shit price, but we'll use him in the pick four that begins with this race. But to recount my selection for the fourth from Tampa, it's the Minaret. Gonna take the 2 horse Summers coming. Give kudos to the 1 horse Mystic Lake. 2-1-4-6 Super. 2-1 in the multi race. Fifth race from Tampa. It's the feature for the fillies here. It's the Suncoast Stakes. It's going for a purse of $125,000. Races for 3-year-old fillies. 8 horses are going a mile 40 yards on the main track. Let's take the 3 horse Zani as a top selection. 3-5-4-8 in the superfecta for me. 3-5-4-8 super. Top selection 3 horse Zani. 3-year-old filly by American Pharaoh. Tom Fletcher trains one. Ira Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. The red horse most recently on the 6th December at Aqueducts. Mile 8th in the grade 2 Demoiselle. And he won by 8 1/4 lengths. He stalked all the way around the race course. He was a little bit wide, but he flew home clear. That was a very good race. Getting back in a little bit of grip. Training well Palm Beach. I think this horse is sitting on a very good run. On debut, ran on the 2nd November at Goldstrom, 6.5 in the main special weight, and he won by 6 1/4 lengths and was dueling on the front end in some good fractions, 45 and 3 to a half mile. They kind of crawled to that 3/4 time, 1:10 and 3, and finished the race 1:16 and 4, but he was still a very good race. Over a trip, this horse probably wasn't really appreciative to. I think this horse is going to be better on 2 turns rounding, and she proved the next start out. She's refreshed here, training well. She's bred for this trip through and through. I think she's a very likely winner. Small upsetter could be the 5 horse Life of Joy, getting blinkers on for Flavian and Brad Cox. Was a winner 2 back in the Rags to Riches at Churchill, going a mile 16th in late October. Won by 2 1/4 lengths from a tracking trip. She won quite nicely. Came back from the Golden Run closing week at Churchill over the mile 16th, where she finished fourth by 3 lengths, and she was very, very wide that day closing up. And she also it wasn't as fairly paced as she was in the previous race, but she gained a lot of ground. I thought it was an okay race in the feed. Getting blinkers on, if that concentrates her to the front end, I think that could, really help. If it doesn't, she's going to, gain a lot of ground like she did in her first start and her last start. Her first start on debut at Indiana going a mile, she won by 14 3/4 lengths, but she was way out of it early on. She basically won in a trial late, but that was also against lesser quality horses. Today she's facing a little bit tough competition. 2-1. I would like to see her a little bit closer. She could definitely win. Let's use her on the ticket. But to recap my selection now for the fifth from Tampa, it's Suncoast. Going to take the three horse Zani. Give kudos to the five horse Life and Joy. 3, 5, 4, 8 Super. 3, 5 in the multi race. Let's head over to race number 10 now from Tampa, which is the Pelican Stakes. It's going for a purse of $125,000. This race is for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs in the Pelican. I'm gonna go with the three horse Concrete Glory. 3621 for me in the superfecta. 3621 super. Top selection three horse Concrete Glory. Cyril Gelma Bodymeister. Savvy Joseph Jr. trains. I Rider Tees Jr. gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 3rd January at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs in the Commodore. And this horse, stunk up the place, finishing ninth by 16.5 lengths. He was on the fronting, saying some not they were quick fractions, but they weren't that quick. He was completely lost it going into the turn, and he just stopped. That was just a bad run. Sir Quality horses back to Tampa. Let's see if this horse could keep the forwardly momentum going and, have that forwardly speed to hold on. He ran two back in allowance, start allowance versus Churchill, 6 furlong, 15th November in the claim round series. He won by head that day, and he was yielding late, but he got the job done. 109 and 4. I thought it was a decent race off the bench. And then Saratoga on the mud, 7 furlongs off 100. He won by a neck. And again, he was yielding late, but he held on to it. He's the kind of horse they're going to let him go. If he could, if he could just keep the forwardly momentum going, he could win. In his races last winter, where he has everything his own way on the front end, he wins. Rainwell Palm Meadows, I give him a shot here at 3-1 on the ticket, but I think he is, beatable here. I think the 6 horse Silver Slugger has a strong chance for Slaney Leone and Juan Aviles. Ran most recently in a start allowance race here on the 26th of December of the 6th, where he won by 2 1/4 lengths. And coming from a chasing position, he really came home clear that day. One prior to that, going 6.5 locally and optional 12, won by 1 1/4 lengths off the bench. I thought that was another very good run. He's back up in class today. He had a sneaky good race in the John Narud last summer at Aqueduct. Came back to run a decent race at Saratoga, and then one going away at Monmouth on the front end. He has some forwardly pop. He can also stalk, which isn't half bad. 4-1. Let's give him a shot on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Tampa, it is the Pelican. Going to take the three horse Concrete Glory. Give kudos to 6 horse Silver Slugger. 3621 Super, 3-6 in the multi race. The featured 11th race now from Tampa. It is the Sam F. Davis Stakes. It's going for a purse of $250,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. 9 horses are contesting 1,700 meters or a mile 16th here in the Sam F. Davis. Going to take the Rail Horse Confessional as a top selection. We're going to go 1, 5, 6, 9 in the superfecta. 1, 5, 6, 9 super. Top selection of 1 horse Confessional. 3-year-old pulled by Essential Quality. Brad Cox trains. Flavian Knight gets the mount. Blinkers off today. Had blinkers on in his most two recent outings, sprinting most recently, 2nd of January at Gulfstream, 7 furlongs off 75 claimer. He finished second by 5 lengths by nearly. He was the next star winner quite impressively. This horse just kind of stalked that day and just couldn't catch the winner. I do think coming around 2 turns, being poorly paced on this track. Hopefully he'll a bit wider. I don't want to be stuck on the rail with this one, but I think he's sitting on a good race to improve off that run. He ran two back on debut at Keelan, 7 furlongs in the main special weight, and he won by 3 lengths. He had a bit of a wide trip, but he stalked. He moved his way into the front end and then took off clear. A very, very good race. Like I said, Essential Quality with an American Pharaoh dam on the dam sire. I think this horse could stay forever. Refreshing here. If the Belmont was a mile and a half this year, you have future wagers for that. I would put a small future wager on him for that because it looks like he'd stay for that. But coming here 2-1, I think he can win. I think the 5 horse Selly could be a bit of an upsetter for Joe Ramos and Withward Beckman. Ran at the Fairgrounds mile 16th back in the main special weight about 3 weeks ago, where he finished third by 1 3/4 lengths. He was drifting the lane, which cost him that day. It was a little bit wide, but he did gain a lot of ground from where he was drawn on the outside of the rail. He ran prior to that the Fairgrounds mile 16th and main special where he finished second by 1 3/4 lengths. Again, very wide, but he's gaining. A wide trip on this track isn't half bad, and a wide closing trip is actually pretty decent here on the dirt also. So he'll see pace definitely to close up into. If there's going to be a horse running at the end, it wouldn't surprise me. 12-1, we'll definitely use him on the ticket to upset the pick four, but definitely use him in your trifectas and super tickets. And I also think the 6 horse Renegade for Irad and Todd Cohen also hasn't crossed the wire first yet. He's still a maiden. He actually did best well first. That came on the second start at Aqueduct, going 1 turn model main special weight behind Paladin. He actually won by a head that day, but because he was bumping in the lane. They disqualified and placed him second and placed the winner, the place horse as the winner. He has to keep the straight course there. Came back from the Remsen after that, where he had a massive place that day. He just kind of, he had a very wide trip early on, which probably cost him late, where he just couldn't keep up. But he ran his heart out. He's going to not be as wide today. I think cut back a little bit of prep should suit him well, and I think a little bit of time between races should also suit him well. 2 months since his last race, training well at Palm Beach at 8-5. We'll use him in the pick for it, and it off also. But it's going to be a very exciting Sam F. Davis. I think it's one of the better runnings we've had in the last couple of years. But to recount my selection now for the 11th from Tampa, it is the Sam F. Davis. Going to take the one horse Confessional, give kudos to the 5 horse Ocelli and the 6 horse Renegade, 1569 Super, 156 in the multi race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.